It was an operation of one phase and one tactic. Until the mission was completed, it was a matter of frontal assault maintained with relentless pressure. Lieutenant General Holland M. Smith. On February 19, 1945, the battle began. It was a battle that took 21,784 Axis lives and 6,825 Allied lives, but one that helped end the war. Operation Detachment, the month-long battle for control of Iwo Jima. But was this tragic loss of life worth the triumph of taking out an early warning station? The island of Iwo Jima was one of the many islands in the Pacific susceptible to Ally attack because of Japan's crippled air force and navy due to earlier battles in the Pacific. The island was important to Japan because this is where Japanese kamikaze and fighter pilots would take off from, and it was also used as an early warning station that gave Tokyo 2 hours' notice if bombers were coming. Before the start of the battle, Navy ships started a 74-day straight bombardment of the island. But this bombardment had little effect on the 22,000 Japanese defenders buried deep within the island using underground tunnel systems. The Japanese weren't on the island, they were in it. Chuck Tatum.
Our job was to use flame to eliminate the enemy within caves and within pillboxes, and then use explosives to seal the caves and blow the pillboxes so they couldn't be reused.
An important triumph on the island was the taking of Iwo Jima's 3 airfields, which gave an advantage to the American military so they'd have a landing place in Iwo Jima to and from mainland Japan. The taking of the first airfield was very important for both sides because it gave crippled American B-29 bombers a place to land, and it was used as a transit for Japanese planes flying to and from Japan. The second airfield had defensive purposes for the Japanese before it was taken over by Marine forces. After it was captured, it was also used for emergency landing by B-29 bombers. The third airfield was only partially built when the American forces arrived. When the airfield was taken, it was completed and turned into aircraft fortifications and installations. The third airfield was also used as a runway for P-51 Mustangs that were on long-range missions to Japan. The taking of the airfield saved 2,500 B-29 bombers that, if the island wasn't taken, would have meant the planes would have had to crash at sea.
The island was extremely important to us because the bombers that were flying from other islands all the way to Japan to drop bombs in an effort to get them to surrender, if they got injured or ran out of fuel, if the plane got hit by some explosive, they had no place to land, and if they had to ditch in the ocean, our forces had no way of rescuing them. So we lost the plane and 12 very highly skilled Americans.
The Japanese surprised many by how long they fought protecting their island while outnumbered by 50,000 American troops. General Kiribati's strong leadership allowed for this triumph because he was responsible for the placement of the soldiers that allowed for this extended defense. Finally, many Japanese held to the honorable norms at the end of the fighting through the ancient samurai act of seppuku. The path to victory was not an easy one. There is a tragic loss of life on both sides. Can you make it to the beach? Can you crawl? Stretcher bearers were already dead or carrying men. "If you stay where you are, you'll be hit again," they warned. Chuck Tatum. American casualties numbered 19,000 injuries and 7,000 deaths. Some of these casualties include flag raisers, Marines Jack Lummis and Henry Martin. They both died while fighting due to explosions from either grenades or landmines. Marines Michael Strank and Harlan Block died from a mortar that was dropped near them. Marine Franklin Sousley also died during the battle from small arms fire from an enemy. One of the saddest tragedies was when 2 young Marines were burnt to death when they tried clearing out a cave and ended up on fire due to a flamethrower malfunction, slowly burning to death in front of their fellow Marines. I am not a hero, but the brave men who died deserve this honor. Marine Ira Hayes when he spoke to President Truman at the White House. The Japanese had few supplies, so some of them died from lack of food or water. "We had not eaten or had a drink for 5 days, but our fighting spirits are still running high. We are going to fight bravely till the end." General Kiribashi. While Japanese forces fought to keep Iwo Jima, tragedy struck mainland Japan. A firebombing of Tokyo killed over 83,000 people, close to 41,000 were left injured, and 1 million people were left homeless. At the end of the Battle of Iwo Jima, the losses on the Japanese side were a shock. Out of the 22,000 defenders, only 212 survived. The resulting damage to the island furthered the tragedy of this battle. Before the battle, the island was beautiful and full of vegetation. After the Americans bombarded the island, not a single tree was left standing, seemingly crushing their spirits knowing that their once beautiful island was now a war-torn wasteland. Before American forces landed on Iwo Jima, there were many trees around my headquarters, but now there is not even a blade of grass remaining. The surface of the earth has changed completely and we can see numerous holes from bombardments. General Kiribashi. A battle that the American military thought would only last around a week finally ended after 36 days, more than quadruple the time originally estimated. The Americans gained 3 new airfields, took out an early warning station, and took out the ability for Japanese planes to refuel, at the cost of close to 30,000 lives and a decimated ecosystem. After the battle on April 1st, 1945, the Battle of Okinawa starts as the last major battle of the Pacific, killing 12,000 Americans and 107,000 Japanese. The taking of Iwo Jima affected the Battle of Okinawa, making it so the Americans sent more forces to the island. On May 7th, the war ends in Europe when Germany surrenders to the Allied forces, shortly after Adolf Hitler committed suicide. On August 6th, the first atomic bomb, Little Boy, was dropped on the Japanese city of Hiroshima, and 3 days later, the second bomb, Fat Man, was dropped on Nagasaki to try to bring final closure to the war. After the bombs were dropped on August 14th, the Japanese surrender, ending World War II. The iconic photograph taken by Joe Rosenthal of the 5 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman raising the American flag on Mount Suribachi remains to this day a reminder of both the tragedy and triumph that was and is experienced by both Japanese soldiers and American soldiers, who now train together on Iwo Jima, once enemies, now friends and allies.